Well, did we watch a French film?
Yes.
Livid, 2011. French and subtitled.
Mm-hmm.
Directed by Alexandre Bustillo, Julien Maury. Written by Julien Maury and the same two people. Stars Chloé Coulloud. I'm mangled the French here.
You're going to mangle the French
Chloé
names.
Coulloud, Félix Moati, and Jérémy Kapone.
Yeah.
How would you say that last name? Coulloud? Coulloud?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't do French.
Yeah, I don't know.
1 hour, 32 minutes, subtitled in French. Okay. Did you like it?
It was okay.
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah.
Maybe a little less than okay.
It wasn't super over the top, but there was nothing wrong with it either.
Yeah.
Little better than meh, but we've seen it all before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it felt.
Actually, some of the parts of this we saw not too long ago.
Yeah. Yeah, a movie called Don't Breathe.
Yeah.
Some reminiscence of it. Yeah.
A lot reminiscent of it.
Well, it diverged.
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we zoom in on Lucy, a young woman whose eyes are two different colors, which is irrelevant to the plot.
But it's important at the end. Because that wasn't her anymore. And it was Lucy. The two eye colors.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They weren't the same. The what?
The eye colors were different.
They were?
Yeah, at the
I
end.
missed that.
Yeah, at the end. That's how you knew it was her.
Oh. Okay, I learned something tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why they did that.
Okay, so her eyes are two different colors and she's waiting at a bus stop. The bus stop is plastered with missing persons posters. Mrs. Wilson comes and picks her up. Lucy is told that having two differently colored eyes means she has two different souls, but she's doubtful. Lucy and Mrs. Wilson are in-home nurses, and they stop to give a sad old man a shot. Then they stop to change an old woman's diaper. On the third stop, Mrs. Wilson makes Lucy wait in the car. "You aren't ready for this patient," Mrs. Wilson says. Well, it wouldn't be a horror movie if anybody followed instructions. Lucy doesn't wait and wanders through the yard up to the huge old house. We see that there's a huge iron gate and metal shutters over the windows, which couldn't come into play later, could they?
No, not at all.
No.
It's a huge, beautiful wreck of a house.
She goes in the house, and it's a huge old place that has seen much, much better days. Inside, Lucy finds an old woman named Mrs. Jessel, who is hooked up to an oxygen mask. She used to be a famous dance instructor. The old woman gets a regular transfusion of new blood. She's very rich, and everyone says there's a treasure in the house somewhere. Then Lucy's first day is over. There's a strange scene where Mrs. Wilson is following a young girl on a bicycle too closely, and then we flash away to something else.
And I immediately knew that's where the blood's coming from.
And you were right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's collecting it from people.
Trying to be mysterious, but a little too obvious there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Lucy meets up with her boyfriend, William, who asks all about her day. She tells him about the big old house and the story about the treasure, and William immediately wants to break in and look for that treasure.
Mm-hmm.
He just got out of jail, but Lucy's father is having financial trouble, so he asks her to at least consider it. We then shift to Mrs. Wilson, who's draining the blood of a dead girl in her bathtub. And this is where the transfusions come from.
Mm-hmm.
Lucy's father is dating again, and Lucy thinks of her mother, who hung herself in the bathroom 8 months ago. Lucy calls William and says, "Okay, let's do it."
Let's do it.
Lucy, William, and their friend Ben go that very night, which just happens to be Halloween. Lucy sees a blue flame coming out of the ground, and she touches it with her hand. They climb the fence but can't get the front door open. They finally find a basement window without bars on it, and they all go inside and start searching for a safe. They don't find anything on the first floor, so they head upstairs. There's a locked door, but Lucy remembers seeing a key around Mrs. Jessel's neck. They go up to the third floor. Lucy takes the key and they head back downstairs. The key doesn't work, so they force the door. Inside, they find the mummified corpse of Mrs. Jessel's daughter. Okay, and at this point we have to digress and go back 6 months of time of real time, and we watched a 2015 movie called Don't Breathe, probably around episode 28 or 30 or thereabouts, so 6 months ago. And this is about 3 young people who break into an old blind man's house to steal his treasure because he's blind and disabled and helpless.
And then they find something.
And they find things that
don't
they're not.
expect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly, if you outline the two movies, this Actually, Don't Breathe came after this,
Mm-hmm.
which we liked that movie. We thought it was very original.
Wasn't.
They copied half the movie from this, step by step.
Oh, it sure seems that way.
Yeah, except for the dead girl inside,
Mm-hmm.
and the blind man had a prisoner in the basement. Step for step, the same at this point.
But then it starts diverging.
Now it starts diverging.
Very much so. Yeah.
Well, they find a keyhole, insert the key, and the dead girl starts rotating like a ballerina on a music box.
Like she's a marionette or clockwork mechanism or something.
William freaks out and punches the dead girl, and then they hear loud footsteps upstairs. They've woken something up. They run back the way they came in, but now the entrance has bars on the window that didn't before. Lucy explains that Mrs. Jessel's bedroom doesn't have any bars. They run back upstairs, and there's only a puddle of blood where Mrs. Jessel used to lay.
Uh-oh, she's awake.
Ben is separated from the others and finds himself trapped inside some weird kind of laboratory with dead things in bottles. 3 dead ballerinas come out of nowhere and kill him. That was just out of the blue.
Kinda, yeah.
Well, William tries to break out. Lucy meets Mrs. Jessel, who gives her a flashback. Jessel's daughter, Anna, killed and partially ate one of the other dance students. She runs outside and collapses in the sunlight, and an invisible force picks her up and carries her back inside. She seems to lose all power in the daytime. You know any other supernatural creatures that lose their power in the daytime?
Vampires.
Yeah, but that's not this.
Vampires.
That's
well,
not
not quite.
this.
Not quite. Sort of, kind of.
Yeah, it sort of was going that way, but it
vampire-ish.
didn't.
Vampire-ish.
Yeah, but
There's
it wasn't.
blood involved.
It's a weird movie.
It's weird, yeah. There's blood and black magic, and it's vampire-ish and warlockish and witchish. And, yeah.
And Invisible Man carrying her back in-ish. And why was she drinking? Yeah, there's a lot to this.
Yeah.
William finds Ben wearing a hood, and he won't answer William when he talks to him. When William pulls Ben's mask off, he sees that Ben isn't exactly alive. They fight, and William manages to beat Ben. Then Mrs. Jessel enters the room, and she finishes the job with William. Lucy winds up back in the room with a dead ballerina girl, who now has a bloody nose. Another flashback. Mrs. Jessel forces Anna to dance until she literally breaks her in half. The girl comes to life and attacks Lucy, and they fight. Lucy wins this round, but then Mrs. Wilson comes in and sucker punches Lucy. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, there is.
Lucy wakes up in the laboratory. She was one of Jessel's students, or Mrs. Wilson was one of Jessel's students, and she helped assemble the new and improved Anna with flesh and clockworks. Jessel and Wilson tie her down to the table and implant some kind of worm in Lucy's and Anna's necks, and then both worms turn into moths and fly away. Jessel now calls Lucy Anna
Dark magic.
And commands her to dance.
Dark magic and science.
Anna now inhabits Lucy's body. Lucy/Anna stabs Wilson with scissors and then does the same with Jessel. Lucy then cuts herself and pours blood into Anna's mouth. The two of them then inspect the carnage. Of course, Jessel gets up and attacks them again, never stays dead, but the two then team up to throw her off the balcony and then literally tear her apart.
Yeah, she's dead that time.
Yeah. Then they both go outside and find that blue flame is out there again. The next morning, the two of them walk to the oceanside cliffs and Anna jumps off. Rather than fall to her death, she floats away on the wind. The end.
And that's why the eye collar played, because they had switched bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So who floated away
you
then?
know.
Lucy?
Yes.
Or Anna?
Lucy. It was actually Lucy and Anna's body.
Okay, what did the blue flame have to do with it?
Magic. Fairy magic.
Why was the little girl Anna
Symbolic.
chewing on the dead ballerina students?
Because she could.
Where did the three
'Cause
dead
she was
ghosts?
hungry.
Where did the 3 dead ballerina ghosts come from? Why did any of this happen? You don't know any of these questions, do you?
Explained. We don't know. No.
Well, the trailer alone reminded me of the film Don't Breathe from 2016, where a group of young people go and attempt to rob a blind man who has secrets of his own. We thought that film was original when we saw it, but a lot of that plot came straight from this film. This one has supernatural underpinnings, but otherwise the main plot points are very nearly identical for the first 2/3 of the film. Not much is explained here. It all looks good and has a high creep factor, But
Very
I'm a little
creepy.
confused as to what happened and why. Obviously.
Because these things happen.
But it was all entertaining to watch.
Because science and black magic.
Yeah. There's a lot that didn't make sense in this one. But it looked good. It was
did.
fun to watch.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
regret watching it.
It was entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7 out of 10 on this one.
Me too. Yeah.
Okay. So
we didn't hate any of these, but we didn't really love any
The
of them
Mad
either.
Ghoul was pretty lame. I wasn't blown away with Paranoiac. I liked Necromantic.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked Livid. And the short was good too, The Monster.
I think I kind of might give maybe a 7 to all of these. Maybe a 6 on the Mad Ghoul.
I'd go seriously 5 on the Mad Ghoul. It was a step above boring. Half a step.
Half a step?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Well, as long as it's half a step.
Okay, speaking of half a step beyond boring, we have next week's films.
And that's our show. Stop in during the week to the website, horrorguys.com. Check us out on social media or tune into the full-length audio podcast.
Just everything here, our weekly show is done as a full-length, around an hour audio podcast each week.
Where we talk about all the movies. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. That helps us out. Give some likes and subscribes.
Yep. And horrorguys.com has, of course, all our reviews in writing. If you want to read more, sometimes we'll forget the line here or there. So if you want to read them, check out horrorguys.com.
Yeah.
And I'm Brian.
I'm Kevin.
And we'll see you at the next movie.
See ya.